And welcome back to Illini Drive. I say welcome back because we were gone for a week. Hello, everyone. Ori Benatar returning here with Will Gerard, Jake Hassan, and Tommy Polson. Jake, how was your spring break? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did enjoy it. It's nice to not have to do it. It's nice to just shut the whole brain off for a little while.
Yeah, but the weather wasn't so amazing.
I golfed. I had a great time.
Oh, yeah. I golfed and it was horrible. What day did you golf?
I went Sunday when it was 55.
See, I went the Wednesday after Patty's Day.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a high of 30. And
Yeah.
I didn't have my real clubs, and it was just miserable.
Yeah, so that's brutal.
And it was really hard. And
I went.
not a good time.
I went.
Recommend.
I went when it was 55. Got a little golf now deal at Oakbrook Club. It was nice. It was a good time.
Okay. Yeah, I did not play golf over the break. I'm assuming, Will, did you play any golf?
No, I did some hiking in the Smoky Mountains, though, so that was pretty cool.
Jeez, you guys did cool stuff.
Mm-hmm. Stayed in a cabin
not
for a
really.
week. Kind of escape from reality.
Yeah, I was
That
just
was the
working.
only thing I
But
did.
also, yeah, in Ohio, it was 30 degrees all week. It was horrible. It's just this weather's insane. I mean, I come to Champaign yesterday, and there's all this slosh and slush.
Okay, yeah.
I had a mixture of snow and slush. That's what I was kind of saying.
I didn't know if that was an Ohio
There
thing
was
or
literally,
something.
it was like an ice rink right in front of my front door. It still is, but now that it's pouring outside, that's going to melt. Before we begin the show, Will mentioned to me right before we got on the air, today is the anniversary of not one, but two Illini Elite Eight victories. The 1989 Flying Illini win over Syracuse to make the Final Four, and 2005's win over Arizona, which I'm sure for the three of you who grew up as Illinois basketball fans is probably your favorite memory of Illinois basketball.
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
I distinctly remember watching that game out at my grandma's house.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that was something else. Big comeback. Illinois made it to the final that year, eventually to lose to Sean May and North Carolina. But we're going to keep it Illini here. Our plan was to kind of go through what happened over the spring break. We're still going to do that, but the big news coming in today, if you have not heard, two Illini basketball players have decided to leave the program. Michael Finke announced that he will be transferring. He got his bachelor's degree here. He will be getting a master's elsewhere and use his final year of eligibility at a different school. That was announced at around noon. Then just about an hour later, or an hour ago, Tijon Lucas, with 2 years left of eligibility, he has also decided to transfer. So that is four Illini players who still could play next year that have left the program, and all five of the Illini starters from the opening game against Southern are all leaving. Mark Allstark graduating, LaRon Black seeking a pro career, and then Mark Smith, Tijon, and Finke are all transferring.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, a lot of it was just speculation before and sources saying this. But, I mean, the ones that have gone are the ones that people kind of expected to go if there was going to be transfers, I mean, Finke, you would have liked to see him stay. He had some talent. He had some fit in the system. And, I mean, he can fill a lot of roles for this team. But, I mean, it's not the biggest surprise, I mean, and then with a guy like Tijon, you look at a backcourt that's already pretty crowded with guys like Trent taking over, a five-star point guard, and Io coming in, I mean, it's not like it's the biggest shock in the world. But
I'm not saying it's shocking. I mean, I think everyone expected. For me, I thought, Tijon is probably going to leave because Io DeSumo was coming in. Alan Griffin has been putting up some numbers in some New York State games. But, Mark Smith, for me, has been kind of the most surprising one. LaRon Black going pro makes sense. Michael Finke leaving, I guess he just wants maybe a new experience. He's from Champaign. He's been here for 4 years. Maybe just wants to get that last year. But I think it's pretty remarkable that football and men's basketball, who are both in massive rebuild modes, around 20 or so of those athletes have decided to leave the program within the past 4 months. For football, it seems more normal because you have so many players and there's 22 guys who start, whereas for basketball, you only have 5 players. But I think for basketball, it's more shocking because especially with it's only 1 year with Underwood and already 4 guys are gone, one of which he recruited.
I think it kind of goes back to what you were saying about football as well, where just with the system change, it's kind of a matter of, getting in guys that were recruited by Underwood and his staff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it seems like all these guys that have left because the writing was on the wall, whether it be, playing time or if they were going to, have a significant role moving forward.
That's definitely the biggest thing. I mean, you want to have a significant role, you want to succeed, but I think you look at
Finke's by far the biggest loss.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're
Laurent?
Okay.
Yeah, Laurent,
In terms of
technically.
transfer, sorry.
I feel like you
Laurent,
don't count Laurent in terms of people leaving just because it's not a matter of going to play somewhere else. It's just like a pro thing.
Okay, yeah,
Like it's a career decision.
Yeah, but he still could have played next
the
year.
program still loses him as a
I
player.
mean,
Yeah.
wrong there, but
I mean, I consider Laurent the biggest loss because he could have played for Illinois next year. And I'm just looking at what's happening in the NCAA tournament and what Loyola Chicago has accomplished. And all these guys have a great opportunity to succeed at a Big Ten university and maybe get some minutes. And this tournament has proved that anything can happen in college basketball. If Illinois gets 18, 19 wins next year, and I think if all these guys decided to stay, they easily could have, and they could make a run in the Big Ten, maybe make a run in the NCAAs, because I think all this talent combined would have been really successful. Now you're in a situation where Brad Underwood's got to go and recruit 4 scholarship players in 6 months. It's a huge rebuild now. I mean, again, all 5 of the opening day starters are gone.
yeah, I mean, it's starting to look almost more like what happened with football in terms of Lovey went out and said, you know what, I'm going to play my guys. I want to play the people who play my system right, you know. And obviously it wasn't as foreseen that it would happen like this in basketball. But, I mean, if that's what has to happen, I mean, you kind of got to give Underwood your trust and say, hey, I know you're going to bring the guys in that you want to do what you want to do. And, I mean, hopefully that's the process that's going on. Because, I mean, you would have to think that they had a pretty good idea that these were going to be the guys that are leaving.
Of course.
You know? And so I would assume that, I mean, I think it's pretty fair to assume that, I mean, they have replacements in mind. They have people that they hope they can win, you know. So obviously in the moment when you only have the departures, it doesn't look very good. But, I mean, when you see who comes back in, I think we kind of have to wait for that to come.
Yeah, you have to see who Underwood's actually going to bring into play. Yeah. But I'm, you know, Samba Kane and Alan Griffin look like they can be really promising players, but huge question marks. Ayo Dosunmu obviously is going to be the most promising player on the team next year, but you just don't know what to expect. Same thing with Illini football, which was my initial leadoff point. I mean, Isaiah Williams committing to play quarterback for Illinois, 2019 QB, 5-star, first 5-star Illini recruit in, 8 years? Something like that, something crazy. I mean, that's a big deal for Illinois football. So Lovey is starting to get those players that he wants and is actually already made massive improvements to the players that have transferred, which was around 15. We'll have to see what happens with basketball, but I just still think it's a little bit more surprising since, at least with football, the guys who were recruited by Beckman and were coached by Cubitt, those guys left after year 2 under Lovey. These guys are all leaving after year 1 with Brad Underwood. That's the thing to me, Jake, that seems the most surprising.
Yeah, I mean, but you're right. It's the same exact thing almost. And, like, basketball is different from football, too. And, like, there's a lot less moving parts as far as how players, like, get in a game, like the rotation of a game. So, I mean, like, if guys get more frustrated quicker than in football, like, they're more likely to leave. Like, they're more eager to get out.
You're listening to Illini Drive here on WPGU 107.1, brought to you by the Illinois Fighting Illini. For tickets and info, make sure to go to fightingillini.com or call 1-866-ILLINI1. Once again, fightingillini.com or call 1-866-ILLINI1 for more ticket information. Moving on to kind of the spring break recap that we were planning on doing. So Isaiah Williams, QB, to Illinois football. Baseball, ridiculously good. They are playing insane. Just swept Northwestern, first Big Ten series. Brent Spillane is on something because he's hitting like almost 5. He's hitting like
something over there.
Yeah.
I didn't mean anything bad.
Let's word it differently.
Fine. He is on a tear. How about that?
That works.
Illinois baseball is on a 5-game winning streak. Brent Spillane is hitting almost 500. He leads the Big Ten in, I think, homers, slugging percentage, RBIs.
Anything relevant.
Yeah. He's going to win like the quintuple crown or whatever right now in the Big Ten. I mean,
be cool.
He's just
Why not?
remarkable. Illinois baseball now 22nd in the country. Their next series, they're going to have a home series finally when they play Iowa this Friday through Sunday, the 30th through April 1st. Another Big Ten series that you can look forward to. It'll be the 2nd through 4th home games. Softball's also playing really well. They've been winning some games. The big thing that kind of went over social media, starting pitcher Taylor Edwards must have gotten a ball to the face because there were pictures of her getting stitches around her eye. But she toughed it out. Softball is also starting to build up some momentum. They're winning some games. Current record is 21-10. They have won They have won 3 of their last 4, 5 of their last 6. Last wins were 2 doubleheader wins over Purdue, 14-6 and 10-2. Next up, they got a doubleheader on Wednesday here in Urbana against Northwestern, and then a weekend series in Minneapolis against Minnesota. So you have that. Big Ten championships are going to start flowing around. This past Saturday, the women's gymnastics team had Big Tens here at State Farm Center. Bridget Hoden won the beam title, so a Big Ten title for an individual. No team title. The Illini women finished 3rd. The next Big Ten championship for Illini athletics to look out for is men's gymnastics, which will be April 6th through the 7th. There's going to be a ton of sports that are going to be competing for Big Ten championships over the next couple of weeks, and all with legitimate chances. So, Jake, if you'd have to pinpoint one Illini team this spring that you guarantee will win the Big Ten title, who would it be? Just one.
Guarantee?
Just one. If you had to pick one, even though you could have multiple, and I think there will be multiple.
I don't know. Like, I really want.
Golf.
You'd say men's golf?
I'd say golf. I really want to say baseball, but I think you have to go golf just because.
Indiana's really good too.
Yeah, like the top end of the Big Ten in baseball is really good with Michigan and Indiana, and I think Maryland's playing really well too, right?
Pretty good
Yeah.
too, yeah.
So, I mean, the top end of the Big Ten in baseball is pretty good, so there's no guarantees there. But golf, I mean, men's golf just in and out every season is always up there and competing for it, so it's an easy bet.
I'm going to go with men's tennis. I think men's tennis is going to win Big Ten championships. They're my one that I'm going to say are like a definite. 7th in the country, coming off of some big wins. They are 12-5 this season. 2-game winning streak. We have won. Wow, they have won a lot of matches recently. Next up, they're at Iowa and then at Nebraska. Big Ten championships will be in Iowa City, the Big Ten tournament, April 26th to 29th. The women's tennis also might take it as well. They're probably going to win their Big Ten championships too. Men's gymnastics is always going to be close, but they've got some tough competition. But for me, I think the tennis teams are the ones to really look out for. But when we get into May, baseball and softball also are going to have really legitimate chances to win Big Tens, which is pretty exciting.
It's wild how many teams are like at or near the top of like not the rankings, but like are ranked and then like at or near the top of the Big Ten.
Absolutely.
In the respective sport.
Yeah, especially
Illinois owns the spring. Like, it's just simple as that.
Yeah, they really do. They own non-revenue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it comes to I mean, not when it comes to the Big Ten. I mean, obviously Illinois is not winning national championships every year in non-revenue sports. That hasn't happened since 2012 when men's gymnastics won. But, you know, Illini spring sports are right there with Ohio State and Michigan. They're competing, and they've got multiple teams ranked in the top 25. And now we're going to get into, you know, week after week after week. Big Ten championship in this sport, Big Ten championship in that sport. It's going to be a wild spring to be an Illini sports fan. That is definitely for sure. So definitely check that out. I mean, it's also wild because of all the crazy news in football, all the crazy news in basketball, whether it's good or bad. Illini news never stops. And I feel like since all of us have been here, it seems like every other week or every 2 to 3 weeks, something happens, whether it's a player leaving or a coach leaving or a coach getting hired or a player getting recruited or a team winning and all that. It doesn't stand still.
It's been exciting. I mean,
yeah,
keeping you on your toes. You know, you don't know what's coming where. I mean, right now we've got I have no idea how to say his name. It's Georgie something on campus. Another big man who hopefully could be part of the guys that fill the void of some of those transfers. But I mean, recruiting teams that are actually already playing and doing really well right now. I mean, it's a good time to be an Illini sports fan.
Definitely keep up with the news for the Illini because you never know when something's going to happen. And you never know when Tommy's phone is going to be on.
I'm talking Dark Knight right here.
What? What, just a random clip from the Dark Knight just popped up on your phone?
It was in my text because I was trying to save it and download it, and I had my sound off. You can see I have to flip back on now ringer.
I see,
It was
yes.
off. So, I mean, I did my due diligence. I thought it would be off, and then I could just download it. But, I apologize to the listeners, to the watchers.
I see you also have your Cubs background now replacing
baseball season.
Mo Salah. And speaking
Thursday.
Yeah, we had a couple of weeks off for Liverpool. My jersey just came in the mail.
Ooh.
When I came back.
You got a red Salah jersey?
No.
Or Firmino?
Firmino, baby. We're
That's
talking
right.
Bobby.
Okay.
I'm excited. It was good stuff. It was a really nice welcome back to school.
Yeah, that is a nice welcome back.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Bobby Firmino.
He's a
absolute
Brazilian goal scorer for Liverpool. Very good player.
Every time he scores, he jumps up and does like karate kicks in the air.
Nice.
You will definitely see him in the World Cup if you decide to watch the World Cup, which I think you should. You all should. Because it's going to be fun, even though the U.S. isn't in it.
Oh, yeah. I'm super pumped.
Watch it. Especially opening game, Russia and Saudi Arabia, June 14th. Mark it on your calendar. But, yeah.
Party, guys?
Heck yeah.
I'm going to be in Ohio, so maybe I'll drive up to Chicago for that. No, I got a wedding that weekend to go to.
Nice.
And that's in Cincy. But we're going to take a break. When we come back, baseball starts this week. We're going to go and just preview division by division. That's how we're going to start our baseball previews for the week. Wednesday, we're going to do awards and picks. But when we come back, division by division breakdown of the MLB when we return to Illini Drive right here on WPGU 107.1.
You're watching Illini Drive on Urbana Public Television. Tune in Monday nights at 6 p.m. to listen live on WPGU 107.1.
Back here in Illini Drive on WPGU 107.1. Quick look at some scores in the NBA. One game that's catching a lot of people's eyes is in Philadelphia. The 76ers taking on the Denver Nuggets. Philadelphia's already clinched a playoff berth, but their number one draft pick from this past year, Markelle Fultz, might play. He has not entered the game yet, but that game is tied at 13.
Welcome to Fultz-Delphia.
Oh, wow.
Fultz-Adelphia.
That was great. Phenomenal joke right there. Tomorrow.
What's his shooting percentage tonight? Over under 20%.
I'm saying under 20%.
Do you think he shoots more than a shot or two?
Yeah, and I think he's going to miss them both.
I think he's going to have 6 points and a couple of rebounds.
Oh, wow. That'd be a real productive debut.
I mean, good because I think he's probably only get 15, 20 minutes probably.
He'd probably think less than that. I think he only gets 12 or 11. We'll see. But Philadelphia's in the playoffs. Yes, that's right. Philadelphia clinched the playoffs 3 weeks before the season ended. That's real, as the process has been trusted. Bulls are back in action tomorrow in Houston against the Rockets. That'll be a fun game for the Bulls. Houston going for their 61st win of the season, looking to keep hold of that number one seed. And the women's Elite Eight is continuing tonight. UConn already up 17-8 against South Carolina, looking to knock off the defending champions. Remember, South Carolina won it last year, not UConn. But let's go to baseball. Opening day's Thursday. The first game of the season will be in Miami. The Marlins taking on the Cubs.
That's going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah, I would.
It's going to be so bad.
Cubs should win 3 of those games. If they don't, they should be disappointed.
They should move that series to Wrigley. There's no point having an opening day series in Miami.
Oh, boy. Yeah, opening series in Miami for the Cubs. It'll be 4 games. But we're going to take today's show. We're just going to go division by division, sort of break down who we think is going to be good. Let's start with the AL East. Yankees the favorites with Giancarlo and Aaron Judge and all the other players below them. Got the Red Sox. Chris Sale, does he play? And what's his injury status?
He's fine, I think.
He's fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no structural damage. I think it's just a bruise or contusion at worst.
Because Sale got beamed with a line drive in spring training.
Contusion's a fancy word for bruise.
Yeah.
Please never talk to me ever again.
Left hip contusion. And then you've got Baltimore, who could be dealing some of their stars at the trade deadline, like Adam Jones.
I don't know why they didn't.
Manny Machado, Chris Davis could be gone. Toronto.
Nobody's taking Chris Davis.
Toronto still has Josh Donaldson. He's probably going to get traded in the trade deadline. They don't look too good. And then you have Tampa Bay.
Toronto could low-key be kind of good, actually.
How?
Because they still have a pretty decent lineup with.
Their rotation's actually pretty good.
And their rotation, like J. Happ and Aaron Sanchez and Marcus Stroman, you could. That's a pretty decent top 3.
Who's hitting? Josh Donaldson.
Donaldson, Tulo. Who's in the?
Do they still have Batista?
No, he's a free agent. Nobody wants him.
Yeah, nobody's.
Give me a second. Give me 3 seconds. Not 3 seconds, actually, Tommy, before you say something.
Well, as he looks for Blue Jays hitters, you also got the Tampa Bay Rays in that division, who, according to Picada, the prediction for how many teams?
Is that how you say it?
Picada. They said the Rays are going to win 83 games.
I know.
What?
So dumb.
Yeah, Tampa Bay's not going to be good. They lost Dickerson and Longoria. Is this a one-horse race? Is this the Yankees winning the East, or can Boston compete?
Boston will be there. Oh, Granderson, he's decent.
Oh, yeah.
Granderson still got a little in the tank. Kevin Pillar is still decent.
Granderson since when? Grishik too?
Granderson's been topping teams.
They signed Granderson. Justin Smoke, he hit 30-plus home runs last year, but he's still a decent hitter.
Okay.
Decent bullpen with Ozuna and O and Axford. Russell Martin still can give you 285 and 15 homers.
So
they'll be they're not going to win the division, but they'll probably be 84, 85 wins.
Okay, so
because you got to think about also like the division they're in, like the Rays and Orioles. Like they're gonna all three of those. The Yankees, Red Sox, and Blue Jays are gonna beat up on those other two all the time.
So maybe Toronto third. I still think the Yankees win the division. I just think their hitting is just too much.
It's not gonna be far and away though.
No, I think Boston will keep it close with them. The first time those two teams are playing is gonna be April 10th through the 12th in Boston for a 3-game series. And then it's going to be a bit of time until they play again, not until May.
Yeah, I mean, the Red Sox won the division by 2 games? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's probably going to be that close again.
Yeah, I think the Yankees, their entire season rests on whether or not Aaron Judge has another phenomenal season. If it's just, one season wonder or he's going to be a consistent MVP caliber player.
I'm going to say Stanton and Judge hit less than 100 home runs combined.
I agree.
I'll say that, too. I think Judge gets between 30 and 35. I'll say Stan gets at least 40, though.
I feel like the odds that they both stay healthy for 162 games is
That's my thing, too. Because Giancarlo Stanton, I mean, he's averaged like 120 games over the last like 3 years or something. And that's with playing a lot.
True.
Like the last year. I mean, he played most of the season.
So Yankees, probably the favorites in the AL East. Then you got Boston with JD Martinez and Chris Sale.
We'll and David Price, full year of him.
Price.
He's coming back.
All right. AL Central time now. I would say this is the worst division in the MLB, other than the Cleveland Indians.
They're trash. They're horrible.
So
I mean, the Twins aren't bad.
Twins aren't bad, but Detroit's probably in for its worst season in a while.
Detroit might lose 120 games.
Not that.
I think they're going to be very,
I think
they are going to be
They
very
lose
bad.
at least 90.
I mean, you got to think they still have like Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez, Michael Fulmer. Like those guys are worth a handful of wins on their own.
Maybe 20.
And then
they're going to be really bad.
They're going to be bad.
You're going to have. I mean, like
easily going to be
the bottom of the AL Central, like the Royals, White Sox, and Tigers, just beating up on each other. Is like
the White Sox will be at least a tier above.
I think the White Sox.
No, the White Sox aren't as bad either.
Yeah,
but I'm still saying they're not a good team.
Yeah.
The Tigers can probably still steal a couple games from them.
I think the White Sox win 75 games at least.
I
say they finished.
I mean, they won 67 last year.
They finished third in the division for me. I think Kansas City will finish in fourth. Detroit dead last. Cleveland's going to win the division hands down. And I think Minnesota will flirt with 90 wins and maybe a wild card spot.
Yeah.
But people need to talk more about Cleveland and how they are a legitimate World Series contender because I feel like everyone's talking about Houston and New York.
Yep.
Cleveland is still good.
Yep. It's just because Cleveland's not a flashy team.
True.
I mean, because they just have guys like, you'll have like the Kluber start, like where he goes a complete game shutout, like, and
2 hits or
and
something.
like you get a couple giftable sliders out of his start or something. But like, they're not a flashy team. They're not like a Houston where you have Altuve and Correa and Verlander. They're not the Yankees with Judge and Stan. They just have guys that put in work.
Done. Yeah.
Like, and that's saying something because they have 2 MVP candidates in Ramirez and Lindor.
Yeah, Lindor could legitimately be the MVP in the American League.
Yeah.
We'll do those predictions
Ramirez
Wednesday.
could too. Jose Ramirez almost did it
That's
last year.
right, Jose Ramirez. Forgot about him. He
was a finalist last year.
And Edwin and Kipnis, who might get traded. Some people saying he could get traded in the trade deadline.
They're moving him to Summerfield.
But yeah, Cleveland probably will be winning the AL Central. We'll see what the White Sox can do. We'll see if the Twins can come back after a decent season last year, getting to the wild card
They had
game.
a good offseason too.
Good offseason. Moving to the AL West. Houston Astros, the defending champions, kept pretty much their entire roster, added Garrett Cole to their rotation. Angels with maybe the 2 most talented baseball players in the world, maybe.
I don't know.
Trout and Ohtani.
Ohtani hasn't looked good.
Well, it's spring training. You never know.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
the Angels
he looks bad in spring training games
to
against
be fair,
guys that
the Angels also picked up Zach Cozart, who is an all-star.
Yeah.
So
Kinsler.
that's going to help. And Kinsler, who's solid. A's, people are saying the A's are going to come second in the division. Who does Oakland have?
They just have. It's kind of like Cleveland, where they don't have anyone that like sticks out, but they just have guys who are good.
I mean, you have Chris Davis with a K.
Chris Davis, Matt Olson, Matt Chapman. Their rotation isn't bad either. Sean Manaea, Kendall Graveman, Gerald Cotton, a couple other guys that are like low key, like pretty. Like they don't have anyone. They don't have any stars or any superstars, but they just have above average players like around the roster.
Okay, so maybe a little Billy Bean magic again in 2018. But then you have the bottom dwellers in the AL West. The Mariners will be disappointing as always. I don't expect anything from Seattle, and Texas is going to be complete trash.
Cole Hamels will probably get traded this season.
To a contender, probably.
Hopefully, I hope for him.
Like
That'd be
Colorado
awesome.
or like Washington.
Arizona.
So,
dude, seriously?
I'm sorry.
All your devices, man, with the noise.
It's a tough day.
Yeah, Ohtani's hitting 107 this spring.
Well, how's he pitching?
And his pitching is 27 ERA. In
Oh,
two
wow.
starts.
27 ERA.
27 even.
That's not too bad. That's not too bad. You know, I've
not
seen
good.
worse.
Not good.
But Astros.
3 home runs in a couple innings of work.
Can the Astros win over 110 games this year?
Yes. Oh, 110?
Over 110.
I thought you were going to stop at 100.
No. They'll definitely win 100.
Could they win?
Over 110.
No. I want them to. That'd be awesome. But like I just don't think. I mean, they won 101. I don't think Garrett Cole moves the needle that much. For
No,
you.
I don't think so.
I think he pushes them over 103.
Full season of Verlander, though.
That's true.
If he continues to
But you
pitch
need
amazingly.
You need Altuve to be an MVP again, which I think they. I mean, the Astros have 2 MVP candidates, just like the Indians, and Correa and Altuve. Not even mentioning like Verlander, Keuchel.
McCullers.
I think they. I'll say they win 104.
104?
I think they'll just short of 105.
Okay.
Obviously.
Houston
Math
probably the
checks out.
favorite to come out of the American League. It's pretty much the same suspects this year as it was last year. But
Yeah.
let's go to the National League, starting with the East. Actually, the NL East might be worse than the AL Central.
Yeah.
Looking at the NL East, I mean, Washington Nationals, Bryce Harper, maybe his last year with Washington. Don't know.
Probably.
New manager Dave Martinez. You've got Matt Wieters and Zimmerman and Trey Turner and all those guys. Probably the
Daniel
favorites from the
Murphy.
East. Daniel Murphy. Atlanta Braves, better, but nowhere near the playoffs. Miami will be the worst team in the league.
Yep.
Mets could get a wild card spot if
the
they're
Mets stay healthy,
If they stay healthy, if Syndergaard stays healthy, he could win the Cy Young.
Yep.
Thor.
Syndergaard looks awesome.
He looks so good.
Like that
He's
first start
awesome.
when he just pumped like 100,
Yeah.
102, 99, 96 in his first like 10 pitches.
And his changeup was at like
It was just, like,
192.
his slider was at 96.
Yeah.
He's an excellent.
Like,
He's
it was stupid.
unbelievable.
Is Matt Harvey going to start for them?
Probably. They don't have many other options. I mean, they might as well. He's under contract.
So Syndergaard, DeGrom, Harvey, Matz. Who's their 5th guy?
Zach Wheeler, maybe.
Oh, jeez.
Seth Lugo.
So maybe that's where
Bunch of names. Before we get to them, Philly could be 500.
I think they will be 500.
They're a pretty good team.
They're like their lineup isn't that bad.
One thing that'll be
That
interesting
lineup's
is,
decent.
I mean, Nolan Arrieta at the top of the lineup too.
Yeah, I mean, Eichhoff and Velasquez are good too.
Yeah.
and then solid hitters like Hoskins, Santana.
Hoskins and Santana are going to be fun together.
It's going to be interesting though when Jake Arrieta's
Scott
like
Kingery, they just signed.
Jake Arrieta's going to be like 6th on the team in home runs. I think he could have a big hitting year.
What?
Jake Arrieta.
Why would he be 6th on the team in home runs?
I think. Well, I don't know how many guys the Phillies have who can hit between 10 and 12.
Yeah, I mean, how many home runs are you expecting Jake Arrieta?
I'll say Jake Arrieta hits.
What's Jake Arrieta's most home runs in a season? Look it up.
Probably 5.
I'm going to say he
I'd say
hits 7.
less.
No, he hits 7. Because look, they got to play the Marlins like
You know
20
that? Wait,
times.
did you look that up?
No, I'm saying he hit 7 home runs this year with Philadelphia. Because again, they get to play Miami a bunch of times. They don't got no pitchers.
They don't got no pitchers.
Arrieta's gonna smoke some this year. I think he hits some homers, and he'll hit some in Colorado. Yeah, Arrieta 7 home runs, NL MVP
Sure,
right
why
there. Oh yeah, no, Philly will be good. I think Nats win the division easy. Mets will come in second. How many games do the Marlins lose?
162.
Over under 110. Let's say same as the Astros with the wins.
I'll say
Arrieta's most home runs in here is 2.
yeah.
7.
You think he's hitting 7?
7.
You're out of your
With the
mind.
Cubs,
7.
He went, none in his first 2 years, then 2 in 15, 2 in 16, and 1 in 17.
So he has.
He's had a triple in every year though,
Nice.
and a bunch of doubles.
So
Plus,
7
the
home
NL East
runs
have big ballparks.
and hits
Those
for
are
the
some
cycle.
big parks.
Yeah, but he hits for the cycle one time.
All right.
And pitches a complete
So,
game.
all right. So, who's his homers coming off of? Strasburg, Scherzer.
No, they're coming off of
Syndergaard, Matz,
okay.
DeGrom.
He's gonna play 3 games against Miami where
Tehran.
he starts. He'll hit home runs in each of them and hit for the cycle in one of them.
Miami's a huge ballpark.
Yeah, but there's no more sculpture anymore.
So,
It doesn't have anything to aim for.
Marlins man also not going to be there anymore. So that
yeah,
makes me
that's sad.
Okay, so Marlins lose more than 110 or less than 110.
I'll say less. It's just because I feel like it's equally as hard to lose 110 games than to win.
It is very
110.
hard to lose 110 baseball games, playing 162 of them. But I think the Marlins are capable of it after what has happened this past offseason.
Yeah, I mean, it's just sad.
Moving on to the NL Central, the Cubs, the favorites, of course. Almost everyone loves the Cubs here, except for Jake and I.
I mean, they're gonna win the division
For sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Who's gonna compete with them?
Okay.
I don't. No, I think it'll be close.
I think
but
Milwaukee
I think
and
it's by lead.
I think they win the division by 4 games over Milwaukee.
No,
I think that's reasonable.
I think it's more than that.
I think the Brewers are
Because
going to be decent.
you have to imagine the Brewers are gonna add someone at the deadline.
But, I mean,
They're gonna
you
add
don't
like
think the
Archer or
Cubs will
some. No, why?
They're gonna add another
We're-
bullpen. I guarantee it.
Fine, bullpen.
I honestly think that his Holland hasn't signed yet, right?
I mean, no. I think the Cardinals are about to sign him though, because everyone's going
I
down.
feel like we have a decent chance at getting him still. I know that
Why?
I was reading some things that he was very into the Cubs.
Everyone is.
So yeah, why wouldn't he
But,
come?
like, not everybody signs there. Every time there's a free agent, they said, "Oh, there's interest in the Cubs." Like, obviously, because they're a contender.
No, it wasn't just like a thing like, oh, he's interested in looking at the Cubs. Like it was like an actual report, like where he was talking with Theo. I'm like,
I don't think they sign him.
Okay.
So Cubs, Milwaukee. Some saying the Cardinals are not going to
I
be
think the Cardinals
that
are going to be better
bad.
than the Brewers.
Yeah, some people are saying St.
I
Louis
still
might
don't
finish
think- I
second.
I don't
buy
know
the Brewers
because
yet.
I don't trust the Cardinals staying healthy for. Like, Wainwright's already on the DL. Gregerson's
What?
already on the DL. Yes, Wainwright has a hamstring strain. He's going to miss the first.
Well,
like,
how old is he? Like 38?
He's like 1 billion years old. I don't know. And it
favorite.
stinks because he looks good this spring too.
My favorite Wainwright moment ever was I went to the year the Cubs lost to the Mets in the NLDS.
2015.
CS, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, so 2015.
In 15.
Yeah.
I went to that play-in game between the Cubs and Cardinals at Wrigley. Or no, it wasn't a play-in.
No.
It was the
They were in the
wild card
NLDS.
series.
No.
I guess it was the NLDS.
Yeah.
It was DS, whatever it was. It was the first game at Wrigley, I think, or it might have been the clinching one. And
must
they
have
brought in Wainwright to in
relief. I know exactly what
And
you're talking
right
about.
away,
He just got
Soler hit one
shellacked.
like 500 feet.
Yeah.
And it was just glorious. It was amazing. After seeing Wainwright just kill us all these years, like it was very good.
Yeah, that kind of where that was probably the moment where the ties started to turn in favor of the Cubs in the NL Central. Then you have Cincinnati, who, let's face it, Joey Votto's going to be an MVP candidate again.
Get him off the Reds.
Please,
Yeah, he should play on a
God,
different
get him off the Reds.
But I think the Pirates finish last.
They will.
Yeah.
Pirates.
The Reds low-key don't have a bad roster either.
Yeah.
They have some good young guys.
Votto will carry him far enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, Pittsburgh's going to be bad. Cincinnati will be better. But the Cubs are going to win the division.
Yes.
I think they have the best rotation in the MLB.
I agree.
Yeah.
Houston?
I think they're better than Houston.
I think so too. I think that it's deeper.
I don't think they have the best
Houston's
hitting
4 and
lineup,
5.
though.
McCullers is their 4.
Okay.
What about Norton?
Or
I think Quintana's equal
Cole.
or better.
Cole might be their 4. See, I don't know.
I think Quintana has the best year out of all the Cubs pitchers.
I think Quintana very well could be our best pitcher. I don't
know. Hendricks looks good this spring.
Hendricks has looked good these last 2 years, dude. He's been so good. And then like Lester looks a lot better again. I like his little bounce pass. He's working on to first base. He's not going to be overthrowing guys anymore.
Oh, goodness.
I mean, Yu looks good so far in his outings. Chatwood looks really good so far. I mean, if they stay healthy, this could be a really worst case, you lose a guy, you bring in Montgomery to start some games. I mean, it's a very, very deep pitching staff compared to these Cubs teams we've seen in the last few years.
Last NL Central question before we move on to the West. Which Cubs player leads the team in home runs this year?
I think Schwarber.
You think he hits 35, 40?
I mean, he had a very, very down year, including minor league time last year, and he hit 30. I don't think 50 is out of the question.
Okay.
If he plays a full year, I think it's very possible.
I think breakout star. I think Addison Russell is in for a
No.
No?
I think he's going to bounce
He's
back a lot.
so overhyped. I hate the hype around Addison Russell.
He's automatic in the field.
In the field he's fine. Like he's good.
unbelievable.
He's very good in the field, but like just there's so much hype around his offensive game that's like non-existent.
I don't think that it's non-existent.
It's not non-existent. It's just like
it's. I would say that I expect like a good year out. What I expect out of this season from Russell is maybe hit 260. I'd be happy with.
see, that's fine. That's average, but everyone's
Like, he's been, like,
I think he's an
250.
average hitter. Like I think
He has
he's a
close
good
pop, though.
and I think he's a good player, but I don't think everybody's like, oh, Addison Russell, like he could be an MVP.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying he
they
has a
initially
decent
had that
season.
hype around him. I don't know if he's there. I think he could maybe get there because he does have that pop in his bat, and he's very good gap to gap situationally. He's always been very clutch in the situations where you need him to be.
He is a clutch. I've seen him come up big
clutch.
in those moments, but I just don't. He doesn't have it over a full on 62.
But he's also dealt with a lot of injuries. I mean, you really hope that if he stays healthy, I don't see why he couldn't be better. I don't know if he's necessarily MVP, but
I say Cubs' leading MVP contender this season is going to be Contreras over Brian
That's
or
what I was
Rizzo.
going to say too.
I think Wilson Contreras is going to have a good season.
I think that you have 3 to 4 legitimate MVP candidates on this team.
Yeah.
Cubs are going to be very good.
more.
Going to contend once again. We'll see if they can make it to a 4th consecutive NLCS. Moving on to the NL West, I think this is the best division in baseball, better than the Central. D-backs, very good. Kept most of their roster except for JD Martinez, but they got Goldschmidt, who many felt should have won the MVP last year.
Steven Souza Jr.
Steven Souza Jr. joining from Tampa Bay, who's going to be terrible and maybe relocate. Who knows? Colorado, also going to be excellent. Arenado, Blackman, LeMahieu. They picked up Wade Davis for their bullpen. Dodgers are back. Same roster. Just
Turner's out, though.
Oh, Turner's
He's out for like the first 6 weeks.
okay. So Justin Turner
So that's not good.
out, but the rest of their young squad will be back. Just no Yu Darvish in their pitching rotation, but Clayton Kershaw might be the most impactful baseball player in the world. Back
Markel
for them.
Fultz bricked his first jumper of the game.
Goodness.
So absolutely.
At least he hit something.
No, actually, I don't even think he hit it.
No, I saw an
It
air.
wasn't an air ball though, right? It hit
It was
rim.
an air ball.
Yeah,
it
it didn't even hit the rim.
I guess real life's a little different than like being in a VR.
he
simulation,
made a
right?
layup and then just whiffed on the jumper. That's a tough look.
So that's your Markel Fultz update. The other 2 teams in the NL West, you got the Giants, who are going for the World Series title, and MLB The Show 13.
They're
with
done.
Andrew McCutchen and Evan Longoria, and the Padres, who are going to
Nope,
be
Giants might finish last.
what?
Bumgarner's out.
Who's
broken
on
hand.
San Diego?
But I mean, just because Bumgarner's out,
That's
broken
pretty good.
hand, and Samardzija's on the DL with a bum shoulder now. Cueto's garbage now. He hasn't been good for 3 years.
Did the Dodgers run away with the division?
Yes,
Who gets second, Colorado or Arizona?
Arizona, I think.
Arizona. Yeah,
It's gonna
but
be good. It's gonna be good.
Pacoda has the Rockies at 78 wins, which is ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
That makes no sense
Why?
to me
Just because
whatsoever.
they don't have like a superstar pitcher?
I guess, but like John Gray could easily be a ace, like a Cy Young contender, and they have a decent amount of good young pitching, and their bullpen's pretty good. Jake McGee, Adam Ottavino,
Wade
They're gonna
Davis.
have
Davis.
home runs too.
Yeah, Nolan Arenado. Here we go.
Did you guys see this stuff with Arenado with Bryant on the Cubs Twitter the other day?
Oh, I didn't see that.
No.
Basically, the Cubs Twitter account. There's a picture of Arenado and Bryant standing next to each other on third base, and the Cubs account tweeted out the picture, and like Arenado's jersey didn't have the name on it because Colorado doesn't do that for the spring jerseys. So the Cubs account tweeted like it was something along the lines of, "Oh, there's no telling what the internet will do with this," and everything was just saying like, "Oh, really nice to see Bryant taking time to talk with his fans. Like, hopefully this kid gets a shot at the MLB one day." Like, just things like that. And Colorado kept going back saying like, "Oh, like no, like he's actually really good." Like, it was really funny. It was a good post. Good.
So, top 3 NL MVP candidates in no specific order: Jake Arrieta, Wilson Contreras, Nolan Arenado.
Jake Arrieta?
I'm just kidding with Jake Arrieta.
Oh, I was like,
even
what?
though he's going to hit 7 home runs and hit for the cycle against Miami and throw a complete game shutout.
Is that your MVP criteria?
My MVP criteria is you have to hit for the cycle.
Checks
at
all the
least once.
boxes.
You hit for the cycle and you throw a complete game. The only way you don't win the
Jake Arrieta. I thought you.
the only way you win the MVP by not being a pitcher is if you hit at least 300 and hit 50 home runs for this season. Wilson Contreras, Nolan Arenado going to combine for 200 home runs. Sounds about right.
Easily, yeah, for sure.
Easy.
I'm okay with
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll be predicting the
199.
legitimate MVP and Cy Young and managers, stuff like that. We'll do all the individual awards on Wednesday. We'll also do super early, probably wrong World Series picks. They could be right, but who knows?
I'm always right.
Did you say the Astros would win the World Series in March of 2017?
I don't know. Let me look.
Because in March of 2017, I was thinking Cleveland. I had Cleveland beating Chicago in a rematch.
I don't have my postseason predictions up, but I did have Houston winning the division.
Well, I think most people had them winning the division.
Excuse me.
Oh, I'm just saying.
God,
Pick them to win it all.
Sorry.
You don't have to apologize. It's okay. We'll take a break. When we come back,
all right.
We'll have to settle this off the air.
Okay.
when we come back, we'll give you another score update, and then we'll talk some Final Four. Can the Ramblers win it all?
No.
When we return here to Illini Drive on WPGU 107.1.
You're watching Illini Drive on Urbana Public Television. Tune in Monday nights at 6 p.m. to listen live on WPGU 107.1.
Back to Illini Drive here on WPGU 107.1. Quick little score update. 5 seconds left in the second quarter in the Women's Elite Eight game. UConn is up 54-33. Gee, what a surprise. Markel Fultz update. He made a basket. He got a layup. Last I checked, he was 1 for 4 against Denver. That game is tied. Little hockey score update. Chicago's in action tonight at the United Center against the Sharks. That's at 7:30. Blackhawks are officially out of playoff contention, correct?
Yes.
They are done.
That's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. It's the first time. When was the last time the Blackhawks missed the playoffs? 2009?
I think it's 9.
I think they've made the playoffs every year in this
they
decade.
Were in the playoffs in 2009.
2008? No, they were in there too.
Let's check.
It's probably 07 or 06.
Yeah, because they've made the playoffs every year in the 2010s.
I just saw there's something like, this is the first time since like 1965 since either the Hawks or the Red Wings will both not be in the playoffs.
That's wild.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last time they didn't make the playoffs was 07-08.
Okay. Yeah.
Finished third in the Central. They made the playoffs in 09. They got to the conference finals, lost to Detroit back when they were in the same conference, and then they've made the playoffs every year since. So, going to be different. No Blackhawks in the playoffs in the NHL. Those are coming up soon. We'll definitely get former Illini hockey announcer Cristiano Simonetta on the show to talk NHL playoffs. But let's talk Final Four. Elite Eight games were yesterday. Duke and Kansas, hell of a show. Great game. Went to overtime. Kansas took it. We'll see how many of the Duke players do commit to the NBA and declare. Some people saying Bagley might not.
Yes, he is.
I think he probably will, though. Michael Porter Jr. today just declared for the draft, despite
John Taylor on the fence.
I saw Mizzou basketball tweeted like a thank you, Michael Porter, and I was like, thank you for what, the 3 games and the really deep tournament run?
Yeah.
He had a lot of shots in a row in the pregame warm-up, so people forget that. 15 threes in a row.
Yeah, he might still be a lottery pick, even though I think
He's going to be a top 10.
even though there are so many.
That is a lottery.
Even though there were so many players
He
who
might be
played,
top 5.
like Robert Williams from A&M, he should be Robert Williams, the center from A&M. He played amazing in the tournament. He should be picked ahead of
I think
Porter.
if the Bulls somehow sneak into the top 5, they take Porter.
I think we're gonna get Porter as long as we're within the top like 8.
Really? You think he falls?
Do you think he's a guaranteed top 5?
I think he goes to the Mavs. Yeah, I think the Mavs take him.
It's possible.
Yeah, the Mavs are going to get like lower top 10 picks.
Because Michael Porter and Dennis Smith Jr. would be really good together.
Porter and Lowry would be nasty.
That would be disgusting.
Yeah, well, it depends on what Porter can do in the association. We haven't seen much of him, obviously, over the past few months.
He's got such natural skill, and he's big enough that like it's just improbable to think that he wouldn't do pretty well. You know,
he'll be an excellent player. We just don't know what he will be capable of in the NBA. We'll have to see.
Actually, I don't want him on the Bulls because the Bulls medical staff will ruin him.
Good point.
It's true.
Good point.
The Bulls medical staff is
That'd be
so
bad. But the other Elite Eight game before Kansas and Duke, Villanova beat Texas Tech pretty handily. So Villanova's playing Kansas. Loyola's playing Michigan. Who do you guys want to win the national championship?
I almost want to say Michigan just because I've been so high on them all year and just to prove me how.
You have?
Yeah.
Oh, really? This is the first time you're mentioning it.
Yeah, no, but
it's an evil decision.
At the same time, though, like I would definitely still say Loyola. I mean, they're just so fun to watch. They play such good fundamental basketball. They're great passing, and like I think they actually match up pretty well with Michigan.
I think they do too.
Yeah.
Like it's
Jinx.
I don't think it's out of the question.
Yeah, I mean, I would want to see Loyola win just because like that'd be cool, and I think like the scene in downtown Chicago would be cool to see that.
I mean, it'd be the biggest upset champion in NCAA history, but realistically, who do you think is going to win? I think Villanova wins.
I think
Yeah,
because they've been the best team all tournament,
and they just have so many
Kansas also looks really good right now.
Yeah,
but I mean, Nova just has so many like good like singular players like Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, like All those guys are just so good.
Yeah. DiVincenzo, he had his game against Bama.
He's probably going to be a top 10 in 2019.
Yeah, he's the sixth man right now, and he hits almost every shot he takes.
It's wild.
Villanova is tremendous.
Jay Wright's a magician.
Great coach. Bill Self, also great coach. There's Illinois connections, with almost every team. Loyola being in Illinois. You've got Villanova with a player who is from Chicago, Jalen Brunson, recruited by the Illini. Yep. Was top 2 between Illinois and Villanova. Bill Self, former Illinois coach in Michigan, who's in the Big Ten, I guess. That's the only thing I can think of for Michigan. But
when they smoked Illinois this season?
I didn't smoke them. It was close. No,
I'm thinking of Michigan State. Never mind.
Oh, Michigan State. Yeah, Michigan State smoked Illinois both times. The first time it was closer, but Syracuse, they play that defense so well. They know what they're doing with the zone defense. It's like Jim Boeheim invented it because he basically did.
He's a billion years old.
He basically did.
Because he's been here since the beginning of time.
But Coach K's zone D didn't work out so well against Kansas. The Jayhawks were able to get the victory there.
So good, Grayson Allen. I don't ever have to see him on my television again.
It's called he's going to get picked up in the draft.
I love Grayson.
Like top 25.
I love Grayson so much.
He's going to go to a contender. He might be on Golden State.
I hope that we get him with our second pick.
He's going to be a first round.
Gross.
I would absolutely buy Grayson.
He's going to be a first round pick.
I don't know if he will.
Yeah, he will.
Every projection I've been looking at recently doesn't have him in there.
Yeah,
especially with the addition of like Anthony Simmons now coming in from IMG. He's another top 15 guy.
And it was like I saw that like it was, and if he was in the first round, it was like the bottom of the first round that he could easily get pushed.
He could easily slip to our second pick. And
no.
You're telling me that once he's on your team, you wouldn't want him?
I just don't think he's like that good.
I don't think he's that good either.
I like he's like a good athlete, but I just don't think he's that.
I think
good.
He finished at the rim.
And the Bulls already don't have guys who can play defense. Like,
what do you mean he can't play defense?
Yeah, his way of playing defense is tripping people.
Yeah, he's like.
That's how he plays defense. He gets ejected and gets texts.
He's definitely athletic enough to play good defense on any like typical shooting guard.
No, he's way too slow to guard
anyone.
So?
He is slow. Yeah, he is slow. He's gonna be like Christian Laettner.
I'd much rather that the Bulls get Brunson in the second round.
Yeah.
Brunson's not going. Is Brunson going this year?
Yeah.
He's a senior.
Right. No, he's a junior.
He's a senior.
He is a senior?
No, he is a junior.
He's a junior. Yeah, he's in our grade.
Yeah.
I would assume he's going to go, though.
He might go.
He had a good year.
Season. Yeah, he had a good year.
He's had a good last 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
But if Villanova doesn't win the national championship, he might stay.
Why? He's already got one under his belt.
Yeah, but he wants to lead them to one. He got one as a freshman.
He's not really the one leading them to it, though.
He's their best player.
Bridges?
Yeah. Bridges might be like a better player down the road, but right now he's their best player. Brunson's probably going to be player of the year.
Okay. He will be player of the year. Yeah. Definitely. Some fun stuff that just broke. UConn women's basketball shot 90% from three in their first half in the Elite Eight. And the Brewers released Giovanni Gallardo.
That's not shocking. He's garbage.
Yeah, that happened about an hour and a half ago.
Kind of good for a little while.
He was okay like 3 years ago.
When he initially came up, he was pretty nasty because he had a really nice curveball.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he's not good.
No, he's not. He's exceptionally average. Even below average, maybe.
Just like how the Cardinals are going to be this year. Exceptionally average.
Agree.
Yeah.
You guys are too low.
Exceptionally average.
The thing is, because I don't think the Cardinals I think the Cardinals win like 85 games, but they don't make the playoffs.
No.
And then Matheny finally gets fired, which would be beautiful. He's getting fired if they don't make the playoffs.
Okay.
Because they've gone from his first year in 2012, NLCS, World Series, and then did they go to the CS in 20? Yeah. No.
Cardinals?
2014, did they go to the championship series?
No.
Against the Giants?
Yeah, against
they
the
did.
Giants.
Yeah, they lost to the Giants.
14.
So, 14 championship series, then 15 division series, 16
they lost to us, right?
16.
15 they lost to the Cubs.
Yeah, 15 lost in the division series, 16 and 17 didn't make the playoffs.
They made the wild card in 16, no?
Nope.
And then you guys hired Dusty or Joe Girardi, correct?
I'd take Joe Girardi. I don't think that's bad.
I think he's doing.
I don't think he's bad.
I think he works for MLB Network now.
I think he's with. Yeah, he is.
I mean, that's not going
Right, yeah. I mean, because like it's not like the Cardinals' job is like the Mariners or something. Like the Cardinals' job is a decent job.
It is a decent job. It is probably one of the most highly touted baseball managerial jobs.
I mean, he can hang with the media too, coming from the Yankees.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, and the Cardinals media is pretty. I mean, they get a lot of coverage. I mean, it's a famous team.
Yeah.
It's a popular
right. He's
team.
been with the Yankees. Why did the Yankees fire him? Just because he wasn't getting along with people, right?
Not getting along. His game management. I was never a fan of it. He never knew when to keep pitchers in and take pitchers out.
Okay, then I don't want him because that's Matheny's problem too. He used Michael walk in the 7th inning when there's smoke coming from his shoulder.
Whoa.
Okay, I guess that
I don't like Mike Matheny at all.
clearly.
I don't like him.
Yeah, we'll see how the Cardinals do. Who are they playing in the opening series?
I know this. No, I don't.
You don't.
Fake fan.
Because I just
memorized
I just
season.
Yeah, the Cardinals didn't make the playoffs. They only won 86 games in 2016.
I don't know why I thought they had the.
Oh, at the Mets. Carlos Martinez against Noah Syndergaard on opening day.
That'll be good.
That'll be at 1:10 Eastern.
Syndergaard
so
might get a no-hitter. No, just kidding. Ozuna will do something, hopefully.
There have been opening day no-hitters.
Hopefully.
Dude, they should play some Aussie ball, throw a bunt or two down.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah. Can we talk about that for a second?
What, the 05 White Sox, how they won the World Series?
How I put...
Wait,
did you see what I sent?
Yes, I did.
How there was like a ranking of the best rotations of all time, and they're like, the 05... The White Sox, like, NBC, like, coverage team quote tweeted said, the 05 White Sox would like a word. And I just laughed. I was like, these jokes write themselves.
In the article, it mentioned the 05 White Sox.
Yeah.
So it's like...
It's because they weren't the best. It's because they weren't ranked number 1.
Well, they were
the first bunt of baseball history that made me laugh.
They were number 1 in 2005.
Did you know that already?
Yeah, first bunt in baseball history was 2000.
Ozzie Guillen
invented the bunt.
And fully got it executed.
Invented small ball.
First time ever in 2005. What do you think about that? You were like alive for history. Baseball will never be the same. You used to only be able to score on home runs.
I'm saying that's a lie.
Only home runs.
No, you couldn't hit a double and then another double. You had to hit a home run.
Oh, goodness.
Ozzie was the first one to change that.
All right. Ozzie was the first one. He was the first one to use a bullpen too.
Yep.
He was also
have to throw.
He was also the
first 20-inning baseball game. He had to throw in 20, I guess. I don't know.
He's also the first one to intentionally walk batters. Also.
Yep.
Wow. All right.
He invented small ball.
He invented baseball.
Have you ever heard of the hit and run? You wouldn't have went for Ozzie Guillen.
Okay. All right. For Tommy, for Jake, for Will, I'm Ori. Tune in tomorrow. Tommy almost fell out of his chair.
That's 2 torn meniscuses.
Tune in tomorrow
Menisci? I was just going to say that. Menisci.
Tune in tomorrow for the TNT crew for another edition of Illini Drive. It's brought to you by the Illinois Fighting Illini. For tickets and info, go to fightingillini.com or call 1-866-Illini-1. Tune in tomorrow. We'll be back Wednesday with more MLB preview, but we'll be leaving. Have a good night right here on WPGU 107.1.
Keep it real.